Assalamu alaikum, family. Ramadan Mubarak. We are live on the Sajdah channel, and we showed a rerun at 6 a.m., which is our normal coffee talk time. And then at 7 a.m., I decided to jump out here and go live because I just had to do, for some reason, extra prayers and extra meditation, and I started running late today. Okay, so with that said, be a friend, tell a friend. I did post on social media that we were going live here at 7:10. And I just want to talk. I read something this morning. It's a verse in the Holy Quran that I want to share and talk about, and whatever other questions you all have. Okay. So we'll be right back. A few commercials.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible...
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. How is everyone doing today? Thank you for tuning in on our hour late time. I'm going to call this talk this morning that I needed to get out. I'm going to call it Got Problems. And I want to start with what a problem is and how you can redefine how you see a problem and make it easier, change the vibration, give yourself access to more data so that you can figure the problem out. Okay. You all hear me talk about the heart and the mind reconciliation, right? To the point where, for example, you may be going through something and you may be worried about it. And you may be sort of creating a situation with the thing that you're worried about. And it may be a potential problem, or it could be a current problem, but you're really focused on it. You're really focused on it going away, and it seems to just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then underneath that, because now that you've defined it and accepted it as a problem, I hear people, something happens and they say, oh, Lord, this is a problem, or oh, my goodness, this is a problem. So once you decide this is a problem, it changes your vibration and the way in which you see the event or the person, place, or thing. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? It just gets bigger. It gets bigger and more difficult to solve. And I just want to share a couple of techniques. But first, let's start with this. Let's go with the general definition of problem, which is how most of us see it. Problem, as defined, says a matter or situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome. I'm going to say that again. A problem is generally defined as a matter or situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome. So most of us are thinking about how we're going to deal with a problem, how we're going to overcome it, how we're going to make it go away. It's just all, this is a problem and I don't need it. And I think that when we emotionally see a situation the way this definition lays it out, I think what happens to us is then we kind of start going, I got to make this go away, or, oh Lord. And then sometimes we even start multiplying with it. What if this happens, this is what's going to happen. What if? And then we go way down that rabbit hole with no solutions. And we're more focused on stopping the result from happening than even thinking about the problem. Another thing that we do in those situations is that we magnify the problem. Okay? We make it bigger than what it really actually is. Or we see it as real big, but we've already got the solution. Okay? Dr. Dormo and I would have, when you're building a hospital and running a healthcare system, problems arise every day. Every day. There's always something that you could consider a problem. And so we started to change the definition and looking at it from a more mathematical standpoint. And we would say everything is math. Everything is math. You're trying to lose weight, it's calories in, calories out. If you're, whatever you're trying to do, it's math. Okay. And so we would start looking at these things that we have previously called problems as math problems. We said we just got to solve. Right? So in mathematics, a problem is defined as an inquiry starting from given conditions to investigate or demonstrate in fact, result, or law. So we would see the conditions that we were given, and then we would say, how do we address these conditions mathematically so that they become the conditions that we want? So looking at it algebraically, we'd be solving for X or solving for Y. But our whole thing was not so much going, I got to eradicate the problem, I got to make it go away, but how do we address this particular situation, this particular condition, so that the conditions become what we want and the solutions that we've already written can now become manifest. There's something in the Holy Quran that I want to give you. I want to lift that is actually kind of a funny story, and I know other people probably don't interpret it like this, but I always think about this when I'm thinking about a problem and changing the conditions. Again, the reason why we look at it as a math problem or conditions, because we know that we've been working. This is where the heart comes in. We know that we've been working and that we have a solution for how to make this business run, how to make the family run, whatever it is you're working on. We got a solution. But there is something else, some other circumstance, some other person, place, or thing that is attempting to bring in a condition that is going to change the conditions that we need so that the solutions that we've written based on certain conditions won't come to pass because they won't work in that condition or that environment. All right. So in Surah 27, verse ayat 44, I just want to read this to you. I think it's interesting. It was said to her, enter the palace. But when she saw it, she deemed it to be a great expanse of water and prepared herself to meet the difficulty. He said, surely it is a palace made smooth with glass. She said, my Lord, surely I have wronged myself, and I submit with Solomon to Allah, the Lord of the world. Now, I'm not going to get into all the other details, but let me just say this. Let's just put it in layman's terms or laywoman terms. She was told to enter a palace that she didn't understand was made of glass. But when she got ready to enter it, she thought the glass was water, and she was preparing herself to meet the difficulties. Maybe she thought she was going to drown. She was going to have to swim. Maybe she was like, I got on this big dress. I got to pare it down so I can get in here and get through this difficulty. She had made it a situation that it wasn't. And when she got ready to go in, all prepared for the difficulty, he said to her, Allah said to her, it's just a palace made of smooth glass, meaning that it had a firm surface. She could walk on it. It wasn't water. She wasn't going to drown. She didn't have to prepare herself either to prevent from drowning or that she was going to drown. She could walk right on it. And not only could she walk right on it, she could see right through it. How many times have we had a problem or a potential situation where we made it bigger than what it was? We thought it was a palace made of water, and Allah said, come here, baby. Come this way. Take that step. And you took that step onto what you thought was water, and you saying to yourself, I can't swim, but you were able to walk on the smooth, solid surface. And not only were you able to walk on it, you were able to see right through. So your vision was clear enough that you could see through the walls and any other potential problems. It was the change in the condition. So if we think the condition is that we're about to walk into water and we can't swim and it's deeper than we are tall and we don't know what we're going to do. It's got an undertow. We know we're going to get tired. We know we're out of shape, whatever. If that is the condition we have in our mind, but the solution that we wrote was based on it being solid ground, then what does that mean? That means then that changing the condition is where we need to focus. Because once we change the condition, we already know how to walk. She didn't have to teach herself how to walk, but she was preparing to drown. So when I said that when we have a problem, what that simply means is that you have people, places, and things or things around you, usually people, who are attempting to change the condition of your situation, of your business, of your family, whatever, so that their outcome works and not your solution. Let me show you how people do this. Some people don't even do it intentionally. Some people are just not good people, and they wish evil upon you. And so they're trying to change the conditions of your business, of your life, of the situation, so that it doesn't work out for you. And then you go, oh, I got a problem. But what you're not realizing is that there is somebody working to change those conditions. You may have somebody who wants to control you because they want something from you. They may want to steal from you. They may want to just have you in their back pocket. So when they sit down at the table with you or they're working with you, they're attempting to own the process and change the conditions so that their outcome works and yours doesn't. Okay? They want to make sure that they put the right conditions. So every time they talk, it's going to be based on that. You can always tell when a person is like that because they're not looking to get the actual facts. These are the people oftentimes that don't want to put stuff in writing, don't want you to have a proposal, don't want you to have the data, the information. But see, when that data is on the paper, you can make some moves. Because again, remember, it's all mathematics. Sometimes you have people who are scared for you. And so their responses to you when you talk to them about this problem are rooted in their fears. And so their suggestions are based on their fears. And the conditions that they begin to attempt to create with what comes out of their mouth and what they're sending to your business energetically will support their ego. And their ego says she should be scared. You follow me? So when you are looking to solve a problem, what you're looking to do is to change the conditions so that your solution works. This is why when you have an organization, you have to remove people or attempt to change the mindset of people who are creating conditions that don't support your winning program. This is what you see happening all the time in the corporate world. The powers that be have a plan of action. They have what they believe is a strategic plan that they're going to follow. And if you come in and you're attempting to change the conditions that they've created because they want to get more sales, they want to increase outreach, whatever it is that they want to do, you come in with certain behaviors. Maybe you lazy, maybe you tired, maybe you don't look the part. Maybe you just feel like things should be done differently. Oftentimes they're going to get rid of you, or they're going to manipulate you so that you go along with the program, because they need the program in place to make sure that the conditions are in place so that the solutions and strategy they put in place work. Same thing here with us. You saw in this particular example that we gave from Surah 27, verse 44, that he said to her, enter the palace. But when she saw it, she deemed it to be a great expanse of water. So when she saw it through this lens of the ego that came from some other stuff, could have been other people, could have been something from her mind, but something else that was creating a condition. She saw the palace as an expanse of water. And what did she do? She prepared herself to meet the difficulty. So a lot of us are running around here making moves based on problems that we don't even have. We're anticipating a problem, and then we're already acting as if the problem's already here. Well, guess what? Now we're creating the energetic condition so the problem can show up. But where's your energetic condition for the solution? See, when you're writing your strategic plan, if you say, look, I'm going to win no matter what, I'm going to be successful in this project, in this business, in this family, or whatever, then what you have to do is learn to create the conditions that will support your plan of action. He said to her, when she was already preparing herself for the difficulty, surely it is a palace made smooth with glass. She said, oh, my Lord, surely I have wronged myself, and I submit with Solomon to Allah, the Lord of the world. Because once the conditions got changed, she said, oh, Lord, I submit. You know best. You know best, Allah. I don't even know what I'm doing. I thought that was water over there. And you just keep telling me to come on. If I would just come on, if I could have saved myself, because who knows how much time she spent getting ready for some difficulty. Then in actuality, it wasn't there. It was only in her head. It's just like when you dream. If you dream that somebody's chasing you, you could start sweating. Your heart is beating. You could have an anxiety attack. You may wake up nervous, upset. You could even have a heart attack. And it's not even really happening. It's not even really happening. So when you are in a situation and you're blessed that the conditions are becoming more favorable to you, that's what you want to focus on. Because while intellectually you may not have the overall solution, you may not know where the solution is going to come from. You may not know where the money's coming from. You may not know where your help's coming from. You may not know where you're going to get the orders from. You may not know all of that. But what you have to learn how to do is to look at the conditions. And if you can see where conditions are turning in your favor, maybe your business is getting more favorable reviews, maybe more favorable press. Maybe you're getting a lot of people starting to come through the doors. Maybe you're getting a lot of phone calls. And so now you have to say, how do I continue to nurture those conditions within myself first, right? So that I can draw in the solutions that I need and they want, and I will create the environment. I will create the fertile soil so that what I sowed into it will reap according to my dreams, goals, and desires. Think about the conditions. Think about creating those conditions. Don't keep focusing on, oh Lord, I need a CEO. I need a CEO, or I need a controller, or I need the money, or I got to stop my child from doing X, Y, Z. What are the conditions? What are the conditions that you are seeing in your mind with your eyes? What are the conditions that you are making up in your head? And what are the conditions that you want? And ultimately, you want to create the conditions that you want. Okay? Let me give you a little example. Let's say you have a retail store. Okay? And obviously it's a retail store, so you're not charging people to get in the door, right? But you want as many people to come through those doors as possible because you believe that you got the best product at the best price and the best opportunity for them to get what they want inside of your store. And so you want to create the conditions that draw them there, and you want to create the conditions that keep them there. So you start planning, okay, what's going to bring them here? What kind of outreach, marketing? Do I have a bring a friend day? Do I advertise a sale? Do I give doorbuster gifts? What do I do to maximize the number of people that come through the door right now? And then once they get here, I don't want them to leave and go right out. Just like on your website, you don't want them to log on and then stay there for 10 seconds. What do I do to create the conditions inside the website or inside the retail store that's going to keep that customer there as long as possible? Maybe right now they're staying a minute and you want to make it 10 minutes. How do you do that? You see companies that have gifts. You have companies that have stores. You have people spending money on merchandising so that you can just walk around. They have all kinds of things that they're doing. You even have some stores that have live entertainment, a piano player or a singer in there, DJ. So you just, you in there grooving, right? What's the condition that will keep those people there the longest? Because you know that once they're there and the longer they stay there, the more they're going to shop with you, the more they're going to spend with you. Same thing if you're in the service industry. What is it going to take not only to make my phone ring, but when my phone rings for people to buy my services? Well, people have to have more, maybe touch points to you. They have to see you more. They have to hear more from you. And so maybe the more outreach that you do, maybe the more podcasts you do, maybe the more talks you do, maybe the more people see you. And then they go, oh yeah, that's right. Sister got that business. Let me go talk to her. Maybe it's that. I don't know, but you got to think about what is the condition. Remember, this is a math problem. You want to create the conditions so that your solution works. It's like in a legal case. They have all these facts and all these things that they're talking about. And you're like, what does that have to do with whether or not they robbed her? Well, they're trying to create the conditions so that when the jury makes the decision, they will consider conditions that are different or that are supporting their solution. Conditions. It's all a math problem. It's all mathematical. This is how you want to think about it. If you're trying to lose weight, for example, how do you create the conditions in your home that support the weight loss that you are seeking? Well, Maybe you don't have a bunch of snacks. Maybe you meal prep. Maybe you put your treadmill in the living room next to the couch that you're usually parked on. I don't care if it ain't cute. I don't care if it don't go with your decor. Put that treadmill right there. So next time when you're watching that program, instead of laying on your side eating chips, you get up on the treadmill and walk while you're watching that program. What a novel idea. Or maybe you're doing some exercises while you're watching that program. My point being is you want to change the conditions around you so that it supports your problem. If you got people, this is why when you're running a business, if you have people in your business who don't support the conditions that you need in order for you to win, you have to learn how to sever ties. Because you can't say, we're going to be an award-winning business, but you got somebody in the business who don't do things right, or don't even know how to do it, or who don't want to do it for whatever reason, or who maybe just ain't honest. You're not, you're working against yourself. It's not even to say that you can't get there, because you might be able to still get there, but you got to peel off from those people, because what's going to happen is you're going to continue to have micro problem after micro problem after micro problem. How do I know this? Because I've been through it. So if you don't adjust and make sure that you've got people on your team that support the conditions so that you could get there, that are helping you win, but you might be emotionally attached, say, to your manager, because it's somebody that you started off with and you've known them forever, but they really kind of got a little stank attitude and the customers don't really like them. When you get cash in the business, they steal a little bit from you. This is the energy that they're giving off, right? When you ask them to do something, they're talking to people behind your back. You can't trust them. Every time you have a conversation with them, they hang up the phone from you and call somebody else. They're jealous of you. They sitting here, yeah, they've been with you from the beginning, but they want what you got. Or here's the other thing. They've gotten so accustomed to stealing from you that once you cut them off, they secretly on the low are mad at you. And so now they don't want the project to work. They say they do. And you believe they do. Why? Because you had the condition in your head at the beginning of your business that they wanted it. And maybe they wanted it back then, but now that they're not getting their way, they really don't want it. So what you will find, as long as they're still there and in a position of influence, your business is going to continue to have micro problem after micro problem after micro problem after, and then you're going to create this pattern. It's going to be very difficult to get to your finish line. And sometimes you can bulldoze through it, but oftentimes what people do is they neutralize those people. So they may not want to fire them or get rid of them, but maybe they give them a position where they're not as, they don't have as many liberties and they can't impact as many people or create as many problems, or their mind, with the sick way that they think, either as a thief or either as a immoral person or either as just somebody who don't know what they're doing or as a scary person, whatever they think is not impacting the day-to-day operations of the business. So you see that a lot. You see where you may have that older person that's working for the business and they've been there forever and they got a lot of knowledge. And so you don't want to get rid of them because they're kind of like a walking encyclopedia about the industry and about your business, because you've had to make changes. You got managers that don't know stuff. They're a good person. Maybe you take and you place them in a different position so that them and their attitude and their immorality and their jealousy or whatever they're dealing with doesn't impact your new people, but they're still there as a source of information for you should you need data that they may have from their experience with you. So this is high level leadership stuff that I'm teaching y'all today, and I hope that you all get it. But it's all about the conditions that you need. And you got to be, and the more integrity you have regarding the conditions and how you do things, the better it is. So you never abandon your conditions just so that you can get the favor of someone else. This is another problem that we oftentimes have when we're insecure in a particular business area or a particular situation. Because we don't believe that our authenticity and who we are is worthy of money, or that it's something that's going to attract money. But let me tell you something. And I say this to Black people because Black social culture is the number one money-making cash flow thing on the planet. The reason why we don't cash in on it and we don't make money off of the culture, and this is true in every industry. Reason why we don't make money off of the culture is because we get scared and start code switching. It's real easy to get us to buy into the minority thing. You know, we buying into the issues with DEI, and most of us ain't never had no DEI job or opportunity. We don't even benefit from it. So many people didn't even know what it was, but we was mad about it. We start making adjustments to how we present our business. Well, I don't want this to look like a Black business. I want it to just look like a business. What is a business, and who are you if you don't have anything uniquely cultural about you? Don't nobody want to see you if you're just a plain person. It's your vibe. It's your style. It's who you are that makes people want to get with you and learn from you and do business from you. I want you to think about that. So it's everything about who you are that's making people attracted to you. It's everything about who you are that's bringing money to you. And let me tell you a secret. The deeper you go into yourself, the more money you're going to make, the more people are going to be attracted to you, and the more you're going to access a niche, a market niche or market niche that nobody else is attached, is over. I'm going to say that a better way. Because the idea is that this is what I've learned. I've always been a Black Muslim woman going into business. And I used to go into corporate, and when I would go in and I'm Wendy Muhammad, always been that. I've had more doors open for me going in as myself than prior to when I was committed to being myself. See, because if I join the rank and file in the corporate world and I see the little white girls and the little white guys, and I go, you know what? I want to be like them. And I'm going to go in and be just like them. Guess what's going to happen to me? When they start looking for something unique, somebody to handle things, because I don't know what y'all are looking at, but the world is brown and Black. Newsflash. And if you open up your market conditions, you can provide access to that world to people who may not have access to that world, through your uniqueness and through who you are. This is why the best gift in the world that you can get is to be able to make money just for being yourself. To be able to go into business or into your problem, your project, your situation, being yourself. You know why? Because when you're being your authentic self, you're going to access a power that those people don't have access to. You might think, oh, shoot, let me take my scarf off so I can get some money. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because guess what? If you take your scarf off, or you change who you are, change your name, or change how your business is so it doesn't look like it's ethnic, I've heard people say, and you go and get something from somebody, you go and attract customers like that, you're going to always have to stay in that fake mode. You want to learn how to create the conditions so that you can get what you need to get based on who you are. Because, and then you can walk right into your answers. Walk right into your money. See, this is when you got to learn how to have faith. Because if your mathematics is only based on what you see in the corporate world and what's out there, you're going to be off and you're going to be lost. Every time. Here's another example. I can't use that example. That's a client. I can't use that. Suffice it to say, accept your own and be yourself. Accept your own and be yourself. You are a whole market. You, your culture, who you are a whole market that everybody's looking at. They want you to build up and create, and then they can come and talk you down out of your position. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. I'm going to let her get there. I'm going to let her make this this makeup line for Black women called Black Beauty. And I'm going to let her, people feeling it. But then what I'm going to do, now that I got the customers, you see networks do this all the time. I won't name any, but they create these Black shows, and then everybody starts watching the network. Like, you remember how we used to all go to Fox and look at In Living Color and Martin and whatever other shows they had on there? And then they go, oh, okay, we got the customers now. We're going to just get rid of the shows, or we'll sell off the shows. But now we got the customers. And so we'll introduce to them whatever else we want, and we'll make the money that way. It's the oldest trick in the business book. To get you to, or they say, okay, we're gonna bring you in as, a particular show, and it's very ethnic, and then we're going to tell you to start toning it down a little bit. We're going to lighten your skin a little bit. We're going to straighten your hair a little bit. We're going to get you to tone it down a little bit. And then pretty soon, once you become so vanilla, we can trade you out for somebody else. We trade you out for somebody else. Now we got the whole show and the whole market. So you want to stay as authentic as possible, because it's your authenticity that got you there. Most of the time, you either are solving a problem or you're responding to a problem. And that's how you and I create markets. And say it again, because I know we don't value ourselves. We are creating markets because we are doing things differently, offering new products and services, introducing more opportunities into the world because we're responding to a problem, whether it's discrimination, whether it's a cancer-causing product or a food. We as a culture have always been adaptive. That's why we invented everything, the refrigerator, the stoplight, the ironing board, because we're responding to a problem. My back is tired leaning over the ground trying to iron these clothes. Let me make something that's a flatter surface that I can lift up and stand here and I don't have to stress my back out. We're responding to a problem. We create a market. Whether it's an organization, whether it's a product or service, whatever it is, we're responding to a problem. We create and invent a product or service, right? And then what happens? That product or service becomes monetized, and then they come and negotiate us out of position. They either come and get us to change, whether it's change the approach, change the name, or they steal it. Or they say, you know what, you're not going to be able to distribute this if you don't tone it down some, or if you don't let us have some of it. But they're responding to a market that you created. You created the market. So don't get in the market and then decide you're going to change because you want favor from somebody, maybe because they got more money, maybe because they got more opportunity. They want to put you on television. You got to go be creative and create the conditions so that you can continue to own that market and space. There ain't no market or space in most of these cases unless it's in response to a problem that a Black person has. Y'all don't hear me, but y'all gonna hear me one day. I'm telling y'all, don't do it. I remember talking to Sister Deidre and Brother Doug about the name of their business, Pookie's Crack Cake. And people were like, certain people didn't want to give them certain corporate contracts because it was called crack cake. And they didn't like the Pookie part or whatever. Well, Pookie is a very common nickname in our community. I know that was one of mine. And then the crack cake is twofold, right? There's the crack cakes that our grandmothers used to make in the cast iron skillet, and they put the cake mix in there. When they bake it, it get the crack over the top, and then they pour the icing on top of it, and it melt all down in there. That's a crack cake. But then there's the street name crack, and people loved their cake so much that people were lined up around the block, and folks would joke, "What y'all doing, selling crack up in there?" And so it's a cultural thing that they've created. They're solving a problem. What's the problem? People want these good cakes and they don't know where to get them. The market is based on who they are. So all of a sudden, if they just go, okay, in order to get this big contract, they told us we got to change the name to Pookie's Cakes. Okay. So you might get the $500,000 contract. I don't know why I'm talking about y'all, Doug and Deidre, but you might get the $500,000 contract. But guess what? Now that you changed it to Pookie's Cakes, you took some of the cultural nuance out of it, and you took the problem solving that is created by Black people out of it. So when grandma and them made that crack cake, it's because their oven didn't heat evenly. And so when the cake rose, it cracked at the top. They know how to make lemonade out of lemons. So they pour that icing on top and it go down in the cake. And you get this cake. Now it look like it's frosted all around. That's the icing, and the way the cake is made is solving a problem. The crack cake part talks about the mass distribution of it. That's why we make jokes. People call this a hair crack or whatever. Why? Because then you know, okay, this must be good. It's a cultural thing. Turning those lemons into lemonade. But once they force you or negotiate you out of position by getting you to take the cultural nuance out of it. Now you might be Pookie's Cake. And when you go into that environment, now they can interchange you for anybody that they call Pookie. This is why you go on TikTok and you see people from other cultures doing our stuff, being who they are, because they find a way to simplify it and pare it down so it removes the cultural ownership from it. And now they can come in and steal it. It's the first step to stealing something from you. Get you to remove what you own, which is the cultural nuance. Most markets right now in this country are markets that are created in a response to a problem that a Black or Indigenous person is solving with the creation of their product or service. These people not creating stuff. They're responding to a market that you and I are making. And then we be so thirsty for the money, so thirsty for attention. We so scared because we looking at the palace and we think it's water. And we go, oh God, let me get rid of myself because I don't love myself. I must be the lowest person on the totem pole. So before I drown, let me throw myself overboard. Don't do it. Value your culture. Value what God gave you and created for you when you responded to a problem. And don't let nobody talk you out of position. Don't let nobody take your patent, your trademark, your copyright, the name of your business, your organization. Keep it cultural to you, because that is the market that you own and they don't own it. If they can get you over there, get you to change the name, get you to respond to certain nuances, which do what? Change the condition so that it supports what they want to do. And so now anybody can be your business. And they're going to tell you, oh, you're scaling it, or we can give you more money. Thug that shit out. Own your market. That's where the value is. Own your market. Own who you are. All right, family. I hope this helps somebody today. This was on my spirit this morning. I thought to come on late and talk about it. I'll make sure it gets up here and gets posted. Tell a friend. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Tell somebody about this problem-solving talk that was downloaded to us today in real time on the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks. All right. What I want you all to do is to support. We need everybody to give $25 to Sajdah Enterprises. Go to Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. If you want to become a sponsor, not only for Sajdah House, but for any of my upcoming events, just send me an email. Send an email to sajdahhouse@gmail.com and just put sponsorship in the subject line. I'll send you a sponsorship deck. It's going to cover some of the events that we have coming up. So you can become an event sponsor. You can be a room sponsor. We've got some Mind of an Entrepreneur events coming up that you can sponsor. Got a lot of stuff that you can utilize to get your name out there so that you can continue to own your brand. All right, family. So Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, or you can Zelle Wendy100m@gmail.com, because you're getting, I'm telling you, you're getting multi-million-dollar information on here for free. So don't live a life of subtraction. Live a life of flow and addition. And you want to do this. So something came to you, it's worth way more, especially when you apply it. So make a donation, do a sponsorship. All right. Okay, family. What is today? Saturday? All right. So I'll let you know what days we're going to come on this week. So stay close and peruse around the social media sites on Instagram, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad and Sajdah House, and on Facebook, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, LinkedIn, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. Peruse around on there. We got great information. I've been posting some of the vignettes from our Black Muslim Business Development meeting. We're going to be doing some mastermind sessions and things like that. Yeah, that's it. Okay, family. Love you all very much. I look forward to networking with you and doing some things with you this summer. I am very, very excited. We're just gonna keep moving. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep owning our market and owning our market space and owning our culture. And watch us start to elevate overnight. Stop allowing yourself to be talked out of the position that God gave you, because he gave you the ability to respond to a problem and create a product or service that created a market that they want. Don't give it up. Peace and blessings, family. Love you all.